Alright, another video today. Uh, Same day, same kind of concepts. It's kind of these strange concepts that I think about, and it's small influencers treating themselves like cartoon shows instead of Netflix shows. This kind of goes in line with the video I talked about not being an NPC, and I think there's just tiers to content. So Family Guy, South Park, Adventure Time, these cartoon shows that come and go. Of course, these shows stand out a lot, but mainly because of continuity. So nobody talks about a lot of the shows that just disappear, like the Cleveland Show. Nobody talks about that. It came out, but it didn't continue running. Robot Chicken, nobody talks about that anymore because again, it stopped running. And there's so much other shows I can't even think about right now. There's just so many shows that have just come and gone because when you treat yourself like a cartoon show, and this is to all my small influencers out there that I see a lot, where every day that you post is something completely random. It's very enjoyable for a while, but you can't keep up with a show like Family Guy, where they got hundreds of employees, thousands of employees that are writing the script, that are animating it, that are drawing it, and are able to come up with different ideas every single day, but still have a pretty consistent kind of theme within their show. And you don't have that. Whereas if you're just a small time influencer and it's just you doing everything and you're posting very random things every single day, like just random, like just to post, like that kind of mentality of I need to post every day, it's just something. I think that that's the wrong idea. And what got me thinking about this is that I thought about the real stars of the world, like the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, the Chris Browns, the Drakes, just all these, and of course there's many more. I know you're not gonna agree with that list, but we can all agree Michael Jackson was up there, right? What people forget is that these guys treat themselves like Netflix shows. And what I mean by that is treating yourself like cartoon shows. Cartoon shows, very random. They don't have any kind of consistency in their plot. Every day is random. Like you can't follow it. You could watch just a random episode and it has nothing to do at all with the episode before it. But because they're consistently, sometimes they have continuity and sometimes they have these kind of shout outs to their old, episodes. But for the most part, it's just very random. It doesn't matter where you click on the episode. People do the same thing where there's not a consistent theme with them. Like there's just random posts all the time just to make content, just to be relevant. And I think that's the wrong idea because a Netflix show, what it does is it has a story that it wants to tell and it doesn't mind taking breaks in order to keep in line with that story. So, Walking Dead, long story, but then it will leave you on cliffhangers between seasons so that you can come back next, after the summer or before the summer or, a 2 to 3 month break or, a year break just to continue with that story the year after. And people continue with it. People like it because they want to see what happens next. That's a far better, to me, like doing the cost analysis, that is a far better approach to being an influencer than thinking that you need to consistently post just something every single day until you eventually burn out anyways. And then in the grand scheme of things, because you had no story to tell, you're doing this quick short burst of approach and you're not thinking long term. Like you're doing this consistently for a year, but then you don't become anything or anybody. Like somebody else who's doing that next year is gonna take you like like apart. Like if you take a break or if you stop on the gas, even if you do this for like years and years, somebody else is doing the same thing is just gonna take you apart and they're gonna just rip you and they're gonna replace you. Whereas if you tell a story that's very unique and it's to your own life situation, life circumstances that people can relate to or not, then it's very unique and it's something that people can't experience anywhere else. even if you do take breaks. I look at somebody like Drake's. I look at somebody like Michael Jackson, who these guys can just take breaks, take summers off. They could take a year off, or Logic, and then they create another album and then gets a bunch of hits. They're not constantly trying to make new songs every single day. Instead, what they do is they make an album that's really good, that's happening, telling a story of their time at that moment, and they, all the emotions they felt during their life, they put it into that song, they post it, and if they wait a year, 2 years, whatever, people don't care. It lasts for that time, and then by next year, they're back at it. If they're doing shows, if they're doing performances, they do the same performances, the same dances, and they do it across many different countries, and people love it. Everybody else's approach is, I need to make a new song every single day. I need to make a new this every single day. I need a new performance. I need a new choreography every single day. I need to do something different every single day. And then they burn out, and then nobody remembers them. They need breaks like anybody else, but then they take the break, and then all the momentum that they've built, it gets lost because somebody else, who the kind of audience that you get by getting that is a short burst audience that just wants quick momentum, quick dopamine, and then they're out. So all the momentum that you built during that time of posting consistently, you lose it as soon as you take a break. And I don't think that's very cost effective. That sucks. If I had to do that and take that approach and just lose momentum all the time, that would suck. Versus if you take the Netflix approach, which very rarely people do, you can make one piece of content that you put a lot of work in, that's really good, and you can just keep doing that forever. I think Usher is still performing the same songs that he did 20 years ago. Usher, I saw a video of him like recently, and same song. Things can just be timeless. You can make a song and people love it for years, decades even. And you can do certain different performances, but sometimes people just want nostalgia and they want you to do the same performances that you did years ago, and it's fine. If you think that you need to take this approach, I don't know where this came from. I think it's because we live in a YouTube era, and PewDiePie sort of pioneered that approach of posting different things every single day, but be consistent in doing it every day. But that's just not feasible for the average person who's got lives and they gotta work and they gotta work a job and they got kids and they gotta do all these things. I don't think PewDiePie even has kids yet. He just got married recently. He's still fairly young. Props to him, but doing it at his age when he was young and 18 and posting on YouTube when you got nothing else, you just got a girlfriend, is feasible. But for you watching it, probably not. Probably not when you get a job as well. Instead, tell a story. Tell a story with your life, with your content, incorporate it into your content so that people can relate to it, or they can be curious about who you are as a person, feel some type of sympathy or some emotion. And it's far better and far effective than trying to think of something new to post every single day. That is just a recipe for disaster. It will feel good, you'll gain some followers, you will gain some momentum, but you will just fall off and become a nobody. You could get millions of views doing this, but eventually we all know shows that were out, millions of people watched, and then now it's just, who talks about it anymore? What show? Like Family Guy is still, Simpsons, Family Guy, these are the kind of shows that probably going to be around for a while, but they have been doing it for decades. Since 1999, being that kind of show that's random, but that takes some dedication that somebody who's doing it by themselves just can't even come close to. And even then, they still have seasons. So I'd rather be like a Walking Dead or be like a Breaking Bad, where I'm telling a story, and if I need to take the break in order to be consistent with that story, so that people can still come in and be like, wow, this is very cool, this is nice. I'd rather do that than being someone who's just constantly making content and then becoming the YouTuber that nobody cares about anymore. So consider that in your approach to being an influencer. This is how you get star power, true star power. People still talk about Elvis, people still talk about Michael Jackson years after they've been dead. Prince. These are the real stars, the real people who stand out forever. And they did the same performances that they did years before. So this idea that you need to post or be different or have different content or different performances is false. Get that out of your head.